What kind of place is this?
It's me, Mario and the gang, you probably know my name. And so we start the game, jumping high, ducking low, from the sky to the ocean. How come Peach can't stop being stolen? Need the fire flower star power now for Bowser. Koopa Troopa Super Goomba soon to lose a life. It's me and Peach and Luigi, so you know, stop and don't rock and roll. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Well, it's here. Sonic Prime Season 2 is finally out and about. 7 months after the premiere of Season 1. I've been on the edge of my seat waiting and waiting for the next batch of episodes to be released. In case you didn't already know, I absolutely adore this series. Sure, it may not be a lot to others, but I enjoy the premise of Sonic Prime. And back in December, I gave my thoughts on Season 1. So it's only fair if I did the same for Season 2. If you've seen my video where I talked about Prime Season 1, you would know that my biggest gripe I've had with it was the lack of episodes, being only 8. And with the last episode of Season 1 ending off with Shadow punching the literal main character. As you can imagine, it's the same case for Season 2, but it's not much of an issue here because we now have a total of 16 episodes, and the next few episodes we eventually get could be the last we'll ever get of Prime. So now that we have a brand new season with a whole lot to unravel, it's time for me to give my honest thoughts and opinions because I have an assload of stuff to say. Alright, let's do it to it and dive into Season 2 of Sonic Prime. And just like many other reviewers, I have to mention that this video contains spoilers for it if for some reason you haven't already gotten the hint with the title of the video. Alright, you've been warned. So, Season 2 starts off where Season 1 ended. Well, kinda. Because as soon as the episode starts, we're given a flashback to what Shadow was doing while he was trapped in the void. Yep, this show has a huge boner for flashbacks, which is something I do not understand. So, while Season 1, looking back, was just getting the basics out of the way, Season 2 is entirely different from the first season, believe it or not. Instead of doing the bare minimum, we're shown all of these epic action scenes with Sonic and the Shadowverse clones fighting to get the shards back. They definitely weren't wasting time with this one. And of course, I gotta give shoutouts to all of the voice actors as well for their top-notch performances. Devin Mack as Sonic, Ashley Ball as Nine, Ian Hanlon as Shadow, Kazumi Evans as Rouge, and Vincent Tong as Renegade Nux. For actors who played characters in My Little Pony, of all things, they suit very well for the Sonic cast. Speaking of which, some of the people who worked on My Little Pony stuff are for some reason involved with Sonic Prime. In fact, the director of Equestria Girls is also working on this show. Don't know why I bothered figuring all this out, but it's very interesting at the same time. Guess this will be the closest you freaky fanboys will get to an official crossover between both of these franchises. Side note, but Ian Hanlon might be my new favorite Shadow VA. He's absolutely on par with Jason Griffith, where he really nails that dark-toned anime voice, unlike Kirk Thornton, who tries way too hard to sound very evil and menacing. No offense to Kirk, he's great as Orbot, but I'm just saying, I'd rather have Ian Shadow in the games moving forward, if possible. But anyway, back to the show itself. Things feel way more lively in Season 2 because we actually see everyone fighting back, and not just Sonic doing all the work. To put it simple, Season 2 is a massive improvement from Season 1. Because, looking back, Season 1 isn't as enjoyable as I remember it being. It's still fun, but I'm probably going to find myself watching the second season more whenever I rewatch this show. There's a whole lot to unravel in here, and I haven't even begun yet. Like I said, this season is more action-based, where there's a battle sequence in practically every episode. But for some reason, the battle scenes don't feel cliched or anything. They get more and more entertaining every time. It's interesting how before they were just explaining the premise of the show, like with the Paradox Prism and such, but now we actually see them all attempting to restore reality. As for the characters, most of them are genuinely the same as they've always been after Season 1, but that ain't a bad thing. Speaking of the characters, there are 4 specific ones that I need to talk about here. Let's start off with the Ultimate Life Form, aka one of my favorite Sonic characters. Oh my lord, Shadow is no longer an edgelord, thank God. This is the Shadow I've been wanting for the longest. He's finally cool again. He doesn't try to outpace Sonic, he doesn't do things on his own, and he's actually cooperating with Sonic to help restore reality. Finally, no more of that, "I'm the ultimate life form. You don't stand a chance, Sonic. Cowards run. I win." Ah, shut up! I know that technically his character was somewhat restored in Forces, but do I care? No, because Forces is just mid overall. Prime is truly Shadow's return to form. Thank you, Man of Action. I really hope we're done with the whole edgelord thing for Shadow, because I'm just tired of it. People haven't really been caring a lot for Shadow's arc in recent years, which was always weird to me. I could go on, but I think I'll save it for a future video. Wink. But overall, Shadow is back. But let's see how they establish his character in Sonic Movie 3. Alright, next up is Dread. What the hell happened here? This dude went from an honorary pirate captain to a selfish Mr. Krabs wannabe. In every scene he's in, it shows him doing nothing but trying to steal the shard, even though he clearly wanted nothing to do with it in Season 1. Maybe Sonic should have just accepted being captain and letting Dread abandon ship. So, I don't know where the impact for Dread's character arc began, but now, I hate him. Now it's time to talk about a new character that I for some reason lost my rings about when he was first unveiled in the Sonic Central. Chaos Sonic. Yep, Sonic has a new robotic clone of himself who takes plenty of inspiration from Metal Sonic. Except this time, he can actually talk in complete sentences. In fact, every time he's on screen, he won't stop talking. I know that Metal has spoken before during these ironic moments, but this is a Sonic robot copycat that can actually full-on talk. And this is gonna be a hot take, and I will probably take some crap for it, but Chaos Sonic is better than all the other robot clones Sonic has had in the past 3 decades. No offense to Metal, but he feels kinda lifeless, mostly because he's silent. Chaos can fully speak and actually knows how to put Sonic in his place. And people were saying that Sonic was really annoying in Prime. Well, now thanks to Chaos Sonic, he got a taste of his own medicine. Yeah, forget Metal Overlord, Chaos Sonic is where it's at. Wouldn't mind seeing him in the series moving forward. Alright, and our last character is none other than 9. The character that Sonic connected with the most while traveling through the Shatter Spaces. Oh lord, do I have a lot of stuff to say about him. But let me try and cut it as short as possible. 9 is an absolute traitor. Just like Dread, he ended up being a selfish little bastard. But allow me to go more in depth with what happened with 9. The whole reason why 9 was helping Sonic getting the Prism Shards back was so that he and Sonic could make a better world. But Sonic tells him that he just wanted to get his own reality back, which is of course Green Hill. What really confuses me is that it took 9 till now to realize that Sonic just wanted to go back home. The hints were everywhere, you sick traitor! Then he goes on and on about how Sonic doesn't care about how he feels. This has the same energy as when Tails was getting mad at Sonic in that one cutscene from Lost World. He literally helped your ass on so many occasions, and this is how you repay him? And the worst part is, this is how Season 2 ends! Lovely, now we have to wait several more months for Season 3, and who knows if it'll come out or not. I'm guessing the reason why 9 got upset was because as soon as they got the prism fixed, the Shatter Spaces would just cease to exist. If you ask me, 9 didn't have to make his own world. He's shown that he was more than capable of defending himself. I guess we all know what would be on the top of the top 10 anime betrayals list, worse than Merlina using the scabbard in Black Knight. Then after all that crap, he just takes all of the shards while Sonic and somehow even Shadow are just frozen in place and not doing anything about it. Then the credits roll with that happy-go-lucky music playing in the end. This couldn't be more fitting. For sake. So overall, 9 is a complete selfish douchebag, and I wish him the absolute worst in life. Sonic never needed him, and he should have just listened to Shadow. Phew, that was a lot of steam. But that's about it for the characters, so now let's get into the more spoily stuff. Like the fact that Sonic has a new form called Prismatic Sonic, I believe. So this form occurred when he absorbed the prism energy that 9 was giving to him at the end of Season 2. And for some reason, it feels exactly the same as the battle sequence from the first Sonic movie. And I don't know about you, but the transformation scene reminded me a lot of the Unleashed opening cutscene, but that's just me. Basically what this form does is basically make Sonic become more faster, I guess? And then he uses it to take on the giant Eggman Titan that's been sent by the Chaos Council. Yep, this just keeps getting more and more confusing, I know. Honestly, Prismatic Sonic felt like the devs were just phoning it in. Not much build-up and just felt like a last-minute addition. It's cool and all, but was kind of hoping for a little more with that one. But that's just me, again. So, I've been praising up a storm for this show for a while, but believe it or not, there were some things that I didn't really like about Season 2, and that's what we'll go through right now. Pacing was a little off. Like I said before, every episode has a battle sequence, of course, and at some points they didn't really let a few moments breathe. And just like with Season 1, the show is way too obsessed with flashbacks. To give credit where it's due, there were less flashbacks here than in Season 1, but they were still very annoying. And people say that Sonic is a little too jokey in this show, way more than he usually is. I can understand that, but I think the reason he's like that is because Prime is worked on by different people, giving their takes on the characters, which is of course fine, nothing wrong with that. People say Sonic is too cheesy, but when has he not been cheesy? Sonic Prime does have its funny moments after all, which could just be a hit or miss at the end of the day, but it's whatever. But most of the jokes in the show got a laugh out of me and didn't feel incredibly forced like how Colors and Lost World made it out to be. Like when Sonic tells Shadow,
"On the bright side, I'll get to hold this over you forever."
And by the way, Rusty Rose actually has a redemption arc, and when I tell you it is incredibly forced, I mean that like a fact. It happens when, for whatever reason, Dr. Deep and Dr. Don't just abandon her on the Kraken for failing one too many times. There's your evidence, people. The Chaos Council is officially more evil than Eggman himself. There's a reason why Metal Sonic, Orbot, and Cubot are still here. As much as he hates them for failing, he would never just leave them to die. But just because Rusty failed only a few times, they're just like, "F it, leave her to rot and sink with the ship." Then she wants to get her revenge, and while it's good, it just felt like they wanted it to happen and there just wasn't enough build-up for it at all here. And you know what? I can feel nothing but bad for Rusty. She's the most loyal to the Chaos Council, and the way they just discard her for not doing one thing right is just heartbreaking.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Although, you'd be lying if you didn't see it coming a mile away. Just goes to show how self-centered the Chaos Council is. Then when Rusty joins the hero side, they go on and on about, "I told you we should have brought her with us!" Yep, sure you did. Last complaint is that I wish the ending didn't end how it ended. Y'all already know, 9 is nothing more than a selfish douchebag now. And I swear, if I see one more Sonado hint in any new episodes, I will personally hunt down every Sonado fan and rip apart every piece of art they've ever made. These two are not gay. They're rivals. For ships like Sonami and Nuxuge, I understand, but Sonado? Sonic and Shadow are both male, not to mention minors. Even Shadow confirmed in the third Twitter takeover that he didn't like any of the praise this random-ass ship was getting.
Cassidy1205, that's a lot of numbers now, asks, "Shadow, what do you think about Sonado?"
One word, Cassidy. No.
Seriously, I cannot take it anymore. Every time I'm on Twitter, I see nothing but Sonado art. Please make it stop! Curse you, man of action! You'll pay for this dearly! But with all that aside, Sonic Prime Season 2 is nearly a masterpiece. It honestly felt like I was watching a different show. Comparing it to the first season, they really changed a lot. So I'll happily award Sonic Prime Season 2 a solid 8.5 out of 10. Wasn't perfect, there were several things I didn't enjoy as much, but they were mostly ignorable for the most part. There's definitely more good that irons out the bad here. My rating for the first season was probably a 6 or a 7, but now an 8.5 is extremely generous. But what did you guys think of Sonic Prime Season 2 and the show overall? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content coming real soon. Now, if anyone needs me, I'm gonna be in my room for the next couple of months patiently waiting for Sonic Prime Season 3.